Hi, everybody, and welcome to the next micro lesson on board succession. Today we're going to talk about discussing why board succession should be a focus for you, learning the foundation of what a succession plan is, how to develop those steps to make those transitions efficient, and then learning the steps to make recruitment for new staff and supervisors effective as well. So when we talk about board succession, sometimes you think about we talk about farm and ranch succession or big business succession. And there are some pieces to that can help you make a board succession plan successful. And some of these are some of the components that we're going to talk about today. The leadership transfer, the knowledge transfer, what the attraction and retention of board members, what that looks like, and then resiliency and working together as a group. All of these things are in best practice and will help you save time and money in the future, and they can just help prepare you for things that you weren't expecting. Okay, so leadership transfer. So as a chairman, you have certain duties and responsibilities to the board. And I would consider, rotating this responsibility as a board regularly. It gives you a different lens and a different perspective of the board and can really help you see a different view of the organization, and you're handling different pieces and the history of the organization. So documenting your district story and any memories that you guys may have that you want to pass on, and then knowing your terms and who's not running again. So just having that open communication about the terms and the intentions on running again, being prepared or trying to be prepared as much as possible for any upcoming vacancies. And we're going to know that there are going to be circumstances that you're not going to be prepared for. So consider putting together some pieces or documents that can help make this a little bit easier for you. Knowledge transfer. So where do you find things? Critical documents and processes, and then policies and procedures. What do you have in place? And then who is trained to do certain things? And can those skills be cross-trained? So payroll, we'll talk about payroll. That's a common area that maybe one person is trained in, but this could impact multiple employees. So planning your transitions are easier than when you have an emergency and you need to figure something out. So being prepared is easier, and the transitions will be easier as well. And having a complete policy manual for all operations with detailed procedures for implementation is going to be very vital to have a smooth transition when you transfer things from one board or staff to another. And this helps with risk management. So if someone is gone, who can fill in or take over quickly and easily and know what to do? Board and staff attraction and retention. So this includes establishing an onboarding process. So when you have a new board member or staff in place, do you have something in place for that onboarding process? Having clear communication on what the duties and roles are and what the responsibilities are. What is your mission and your role as a board? Do you have effective and efficient meetings? This can help with retaining board members and then building trust with stakeholders. So you guys are kind of the face of your soil conservation district, that builds trust with those that you're sharing your mission with. So starting a plan, taking inventory of your staff and board and knowing whose jobs are whose and what responsibilities. And then when are your terms up? So we kind of talked about this, and having that open communication. Developing that orientation and training procedure, and that goes with your policies and procedures, and then conducting annual staff and board evaluations. And so this is really taking that first step in starting a plan, and that is really the most important. So having those clear job descriptions, the complete policy manual, and detailed procedures. Resiliency. So working together when things aren't going well and building relationships is very critical to success when things might be a little difficult and a little rocky. Board management best practices, board policies, establishing a diverse team with different skill sets or different views and different lenses, having that voice in different areas, that balance of power, and that again reinforces that trust with your stakeholders. Okay, so let's review what we've talked about today. So we have board succession should be a priority. So you may not have thought about this, and maybe you have bits and pieces of a board succession and you just need to put everything together. Taking the steps to transfer that knowledge and leadership, making sure that everybody knows what's going on. And if you were gone today, gone tomorrow, who can step in? Where are things placed? And we're going to talk about how there's some resources that can help you put things together. Establishing a clear and consistent onboarding process for supervisors and staff is key to retention. And then succession planning, it's good to know that this is ongoing. It's not something that is a one meeting said and done, and it's something that's going to take time. So whether this is something that is continually on your agenda, like, hey, is there anything new that we need to add to our succession plan as a board? That is something that should continually be in conversation. Okay, so here's some of those resources that are out there that you will have access to that can help you kind of put some of this together. So the first one is the board member self-assessment tool. And so this should be completed by each board member, I would say annually. And there's different components to it. So when we talk about board meetings, so and these are rated. So you guys can talk about this, take it individually, but then have an open conversation. Like the first one is the board conducts all board meetings efficiently and effectively. How would you rate that? Would you say that needs improvement? Would you say we're very good at that? The second one is community relations. So the board allows for stakeholders' input through annual meetings or advisory committees. The board strives to maintain open dialogue with partners, local, state, and national. How would you rate that? Board qualities. I understand my responsibilities that are outlined in the board constitution and bylaws. And for those that, maybe you would rate this that it needs improvement. Bring this up to the board so you can get some clarity and clarification on your responsibilities if things are a little confusing. And as new board members, this is a part of the onboarding process, helping new board members understand their responsibilities as a new board member. A board member, as a board member, I make a point of attending or participating in organizational related events. How can you rate that? And then financial management. So the board monitors and is aware of the financial status of the organization. Is that true? Is that something you guys need to discuss and say, hey, I need a little more context to some of these things? The board provides formal and informal opportunities for stakeholders and staff to have input during their budgetary process. How does that look and how do you feel about that? Board member recruitment matrix. So this is where you can put your potential or current members and just some different things about each person and their knowledge and expertise and where their strengths lie. A board succession plan template. So here's your checklist. This is your board succession plan leadership checklist where you can go through everything and just date on when you guys discuss this. And then board member succession plan. So here's you can put everybody's name in here. If they're reelected or you're rotating, duties or roles, and then your terms are in there as well. And then here's your organizational information. So this is where, you might have some documents and where are they located? This can bring up a good conversation of, okay, this is on site, this is off site at someone's home, this is online. I've been in situations where I've heard people don't have the key to a safe or the combination, or maybe it has to do with a social media platform if they don't know the password, and pretty soon you're kind of starting over. And how do we make this so it's an easy transition for the next staff member or the board member so you don't have to hassle recreating the wheel and you can just find things that you did previously that worked really well. Okay, so here is our soil and water conservation team. Once again, you can feel free to contact any of us at any time with any questions, and we would be happy to support you however we can. For some discussion questions for you as a board. So the first one is, does your soil conservation district have a succession plan? Do you need to put one in place? Do you have pieces of it, but just need to put it together? Do you just need to have an open conversation about it? Does your soil conservation district have an onboarding process in place? Or do you just kind of figure it out as you go? Maybe it's something you can put in a document that when someone new comes in, you say, okay, bring out the document. What should we be talking about here? What is one step that your district can take to work on a succession plan? And I would say, make some dates and deadlines for this. So you can say every quarter we're going to work on this, or every meeting we're going to bring this up and talk about this. What are the tasks that we need to complete to have a good, complete succession plan? And then are there any changes or policies that need to be implemented to better be prepared for any transitions? All right, that is what I have for you today. I appreciate you being here and taking the time to work on your board succession plan, and let us know if we can help you, and have a great day.